My name's Mark Shein. I'm the class of 1988. I work for the New York Stock Exchange, and until September 11th, I worked in World Trade. The 11th was my son's first day of school, so as a result, I got down there around 9:15, and I looked at my watch as I walked out of the subway. I was standing right in front of World Trade, and I said, wow, I'm not even late. It's only 9:15, and I heard what I thought was a fighter plane coming in, and I couldn't find it. I was looking right up at one when it sort of exploded out, and I saw fire and the sort of metal sides of the building peeled away, and you expect to be hit with debris or fire, whatever you see on television when there's a big explosion. What ended up hitting me was it was like somebody took a box of documents and just poured them on my head. And they stuck to me. They were in my clothes, in my shirt. I still have a lot of them at home. I thought I was going to return them to somebody, at a later date. I decided at that point, after settling down, that maybe I should still go into my office. I worked in the other building. I started to walk over just to see if people were being let in, and I saw debris falling all around me. And it took me a second, and I don't think I wanted to realize it, but after a second I realized that it was people that were falling all around me. And I turned around and moved away because it was very dangerous. And I stopped and I turned again because it just didn't make sense to me. And I saw literally at where the building had peeled away up on the high floor of the first tower, just a line of people, and they were just standing there. And I can see it. And I can't wait till I can't see it anymore, but I can see the people in their suits and in their clothes just step out of the building like they were stepping onto lounge chairs and just looking at us on their way down. And they looked at us, they looked where they were going. It was so surreal and so orderly that I thought that maybe the fire department had told them to jump, that maybe there were nets or something, but there weren't. And that's what's definitely made the biggest impression on me. It was so orderly and so surreal. Somebody swung out on a rope or some sort of wire, and it didn't hold very long. But there was no panic. It was very orderly. And I turned to walk away from the buildings, and that's when the second plane hit. And the impact was very strong. It sent me flying into the window of a building with about 5 other people. And it turned out to be an ATM window, which gave but didn't break. And I remember as I went into it with my shoulder thinking, we may go through this. And it wasn't a bad idea to me. I didn't want to be on the street anymore anyway. But it held. And for a good second afterwards, 5 complete strangers in New York City held each other as tight as you possibly can against the building as glass fell from the buildings around us. And I thought that the building I was against must have been hit because the first plane didn't leave any impact on the street. It just sort of swallowed the explosion. And I turned, after a second, I turned to let go. One of the people I was holding, turned and apologized for holding me so tightly. I was holding 4 other people just as tightly as he was. And I turned, and there were people who'd been cut by the glass, sort of lying in the street, and there were people that just were panicking. They couldn't breathe. They were just sort of sitting in the street trying to catch their breath. And there were fire trucks, one after the other, that were trying to get down those streets. And, we all tried to clear the street a little bit to let the people through, to let the fire trucks through. And then I turned and headed uptown and just started walking uptown. And at about 14th Street, I got on a bus, which wasn't really moving, but it was a New York City bus that was completely packed with people, and almost every person on the bus was just crying their eyes out. It was just sob, sob, sob. And I eventually got off the bus and walked uptown. Our time is limited, and that's my story of the experience. We all are carrying with us so much luggage as to, why we walked out and other people didn't, and what we saw and what it means. I really appreciate everybody coming to listen to us, because as important as it is for you to all experience it through us, it's much more important for us to share it with you. just thank you very much.